Oh, now look what you've done. You've broken it.
I have.
Baby,
but
you broke it.
Great news
Go
for
on.
all our Cuzzy Bro friends across the Dutch.
Well, Dutch.
We've got-
That, so you've done your Aussie lingo tonight. Now you're going to try the New Zealand lingo.
I'm going to do mine because it's fully sweet. It's choice, bro.
How's he going, Ali?
Not bad. Kia ora te rakwe.
And of course, on the line with us right now is the 2012 New Zealand Female Vocalist Artist of the Year, Miss Ali Cook.
Hello.
Hey, the crowd's gone wild.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it now. It's finally sunk in, so yeah, it took a few days.
So what does it mean to Ali Cook to be named the 2012? What does it mean to you?
Well, it's a nice accolade to have. It's something to put on your poster, something to put on your TV set. I'm very honoured to have received it, and it's been a lot of hard work actually. So I sort of feel like, it kind of makes you feel like the hard work's worth it then. Yeah.
For listeners in Australia, and I know we are streaming all around the world nice and loud and clear tonight because Katy Perry's joined us before to tell us that she's listening in there. What are the differences between the New Zealand country music scene and the Australian country music scene?
Well, essentially for one, you're bigger. You know, it's 4 million people versus 20 million. But the country music scene, I guess, you've got this beautiful community network of radio stations that you've got in Australia, which we don't have an equivalent thing of in New Zealand. So it's very hard for New Zealand artists to get played in their own country. There's no, and I guess to a certain extent that's true in Australia as well, because the big commercial networks are not, are not as prevalent. But so it's probably not as strong. But in underground, as far as the amount of people that love country, like I see vibrant clubs and vibrant activity within the country music scene as far as the amateur club scene, which is sort of like the breeding ground really of future artists anyway. That's quite strong, but just the media is quite hard to get media exposure or radio exposure in New Zealand.
And from the grassroots level, obviously, things like Star Maker and Road to Tamworth, those sort of things. What's that like in New Zealand?
Yeah, well, see, we have wonderful connections with that. The National Country Music Awards that I've just been awarded Female Artist of the Year, they have a fantastic thing called the Horizon Award, and basically that person ends up representing us in Tamworth, and also goes to the CMA Festival. It's all sort of organised with Rob Potts, who was over here in the weekend. So there's things happening to connect New Zealand to Nashville and to Tamworth that are, for the young ones coming through. So we give the Horizon Award winner, who was Jodie Doreen this year at the awards, was Vicky Evans last year, and they get to go off to Nashville to the CMA showcase. So some quite good initiatives going on. And then there's our showcase that's run by Phil from Gore that we do in Tamworth. I hope to be back on that again this year. There's good initiatives taking the music out off the island. I see that as growing and becoming stronger, as well as, we can only battle it so far with the commercial networks. We only have commercial networks, not that, and a few kind of low-powered stations and networks that play country here. So it's easier to take it out, I think.
Yeah, so
you guys are actually only a movie and a coffee away.
I know.
Really, it's like I've come back and forth that many times from Australia now. I don't feel that it's that far away anymore.
I was about to ask you, Ali, how many trips have you made to Australia? Because it has been quite a few. You've been keeping like little notches above the bed.
I came and saw you guys when I was at Urban.
Yeah.
Not the last Urban, but the Urban before. Since then, I think I've done about 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of travel. You like the football team. They're always travelling over here and we're going over there, aren't we?
Yeah, well, it's sort of like there's quite a few Kiwis going and coming back again. You guys will complain that we never come back. Because I lived there for a while in the 80s, But these days they go and come back. And there's actually, like, within my little village that I live rurally, there are several people that fly into the mining industry, work and fly back to families here. So there's quite a lot of that sort of going on. They call them FIFOs.
Psychos.
Fly in, fly out.
Fly in, fly out. So so there's a lot of that. So I call myself a female musician FIFO. So I'm a FIFO. I fly in and fly out. So, and it's not that far. It really isn't that far. When you're used to doing it, it's no further really than jumping on a plane in Dunedin and flying to Auckland. So it's not a lot different,
So you've just got this new single out at the moment, Country Storm. Wow, that's going great guns.
Yeah, that's going great guns already. It's getting picked up really well. So it's only just come out. So far the feedback's good. It's the one song that I recorded in Nashville. So I recorded this one in Nashville while I was writing the songs for the album, and which I did here, and then my producer here mastered the whole lot together. So really the album was built around the song, and it's got that kind of Nashville sound. It's quite guitar driven. It's kind of a female empowerment song. It's playing in the cabins of the Air New Zealand planes too.
Oh, there you go. See, you get
I hop on now and I can, when I'm doing up my seatbelt and stuff, I can preferably get it.
Well, see, because what you do is as you're boarding it, you slip them another CD and then you keep doing it as you go, and eventually they get sick of it and go, "What's going on here?"
Oh no, you can push the little seat panel thing in the back of the seat now and get my whole album and listen to it while you while you travel. It's in the in-flight program. Yeah, so that's really cool. I got put in the in-flight program, and it's funny how that's. You should get a lot of feedback from that. Every day I'd get someone go, I've just come back from Melbourne and I was listening to you.
Nice.
So that's good. It's a Country Storm. It's kind of a good flying song, lifting high into the summer sky. It was all sort of about really going over there and recording in Nashville and doing the whole thing, and so it's nice to be releasing it properly.
And I'll tell you another thing that's nice too, a lot of people, a few of our listeners, they get very confused with why do our Aussie artists travel overseas to get inspiration, and why are they recording over there? Well, a lot of them don't record over there. They do go over, they do get their inspirations, they hook up with other songwriters, they get all this sort of stuff. They do get some musicians in that, but they come home and they record in their own studio. So it's nice that you've actually recorded in a studio in New Zealand. It's really nice to say that, hey.
Yeah, definitely. And I that's what I love with the whole Australian. You've got this whole thing going on. I sort of do a bit of judging, when I come over, like I'm coming over to Canberra in November, to the Canberra Country Music Festival, and I'll judge the talent quest there. I love doing that.
Oh, isn't that great?
Yeah, and like I love watching, I did the Tamworth Songwriters Association, and I judged the traditional section this year, and that was neat because you've just got all these. I just love the whole bush poet kind of driving, thing that you have that's just from all the history. And
well, it's the ultimate story, isn't it?
It is
the ultimate story of bush ballad.
Yeah, it's just like, I love all that sort of side of it that I see there, a bit of the stories of the foundation of the country, and I think that is one of the reasons that Australian country music is so strong, and it has this vibrancy through it and this history through it. And then it's even like I saw them at Climates. I just love those girls, and I saw them in Tamworth, and it was like, some people have sort of said, they're like the Australian Dixie Chicks. Well, they're not. Actually, I can hear the Aussie rock right through them, core and core, because it's like Aussie rock's always been big, and those girls are like Aussie rock country chicks. They're just, you can hear that through the music. I love the way it's developed over there. I think it's exciting, and I think the quota that you've had's really helped that, because you guys have had a compulsory quota of Australian music on your airwaves, and it's meant that it has to get out there and develop, and that's been a real asset to you.
It's very important. It's funny that you mentioned the rock. We had Rob Mackay on last week, and we were talking about rockers that have gone on to country music. And of course, you've got Garth Porter from Sherbet, Don Walker from Cold Chisel, of course.
Doc Neeson.
Doc Neeson, and one that we brought up as well was, of course, from Led Zeppelin. Robert Plant. doing some terrific stuff with Alison Krauss and Union Station.
Yeah. That's good stuff, that album, yeah.
I think it's really helped is to have some of these great rockers from the 70s and 80s coming to country music and saying, you know what, I really like the story, I really like the sound and so forth, but I wouldn't mind putting a bit of electric bass in there and giving it a bit of bottom end, you know? So.
Yeah, no, you definitely see that. I mean, the Doc Neeson, apparently, I didn't see it, but when I was in Tamworth, apparently that show went really good, and I was sort of, are you ever going to see my face again, and what the crowd used to sing in between. I can't see that happening in the Capitol Theatre.
No, definitely not. Or living next door to Alice, no.
Yeah, but anyway, I haven't heard it, but I was trying to imagine the Angels done in a country way. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure at the end of the day it's all core songwriting, so you can actually head things different directions.
Well, that's it. 3 chords in that song, so it's nice and easy. So
even the Big D could play that one.
Yeah, I can play that one. Now, Country Storm and the Brand New Day album out and about touring at the moment.
So I'm doing gigs over here and doing gigs over there. So Canberra next time over will be in November, and I'll just do a whole lot of radio. I might do a gig in Sydney, and I'll definitely spend my couple of days in Canberra. I'll be back for Tamworth again, and Brand New Day, and then I'm doing festivals and things over here heading into summer. And Brand New Day, of course, is out on WJO, so you can get it there, the album. And then I'm fundraising right now for my second album because, of course, I did crowd fundraising to raise the money to record Brand New Day. So now I'm on sellaband.com, and I'm there fundraising for my second album. So far I've got about 50, 60 shareholders, about 5,000 raised euro.
Well, that's almost a radiothon happening right here. Call this number now if you want to be part of Ellie Cook's.
To become a shareholder in Ellie Cook's album.
Well, you could actually sell the naming rights, couldn't you? You get if you buy so much, you get to name the album.
That's a good idea.
So if you want the album called...
That's a really good idea.
Ellie or Ellie-oop or whatever you want to call it, as long as it's...
let's hope Darren doesn't buy too many.
As long as it reflects that, you could sell for $3,000. You can get the naming right.
That's an interesting... Well, yeah, people have all sorts of bonuses. Like, I mean, mine are not quite as elaborate as that. Like, a certain amount gets you a T-shirt. If you have over 20 shares in my album, then you're on the percentage of my airplay. So, royalties. So, but as it is, that basically from the start, my believers get 50% of income. So every quarter I put my sales back into Sellaband, and they distribute them amongst the 254 people that are shareholders in the first one.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great way to do it.
Yeah,
it is. Fans' ownership of the music, and these days that's a good thing.
It is, particularly being an independent artist, because it is so hard to get out there. Because it is very expensive. It's not cheap to put an album out because you've got your musicians, you've got your music, then you've got albums themselves, the costing of printing and that, recording,
promotion, marketing.
Oh, it's endless, isn't it? So
it is endless, and when you've got 200 people with an interest in it, even if it's just a weenie interest, they care about it. They also don't want it stolen because it's kind of like theirs as well.
Yeah, so they're pushing it as well.
They encourage other people to buy it. They plug out when you're on, Caboolture 101.5.
Don't forget to pay your royalties to Tracy and the Big D. Tracing your royalties to Tracy and the Big D for plugging you for putting out such a great album.
Absolutely.
So look, before we let you go, Ali, I do want to ask, like, you've got yourself all planned out. So this is what's happening for the rest of this year. This is what I'm doing. Everything's set. Everything's fine. But you've gone and taken out this fantastic award. Does that mean there's more work for you? Like, what comes with that? Is there more work that you're going to have to squeeze in?
Well, it's funny. I've already had some kind of gigs that I didn't already have, and I've had the airline come to me about doing a video, and so there's a few more things. It brings a few things out. So, it's all good. Whatever helps, and it definitely helps, and I definitely feel really honoured that Katie Thompson and Kylie Austin, who were up against me for that award, are both great artists, and so it's, I just feel really, it took a while to sink in, actually. I sat in the front row and didn't get up straight away because I had prepared my head to not, I'd prepared in my mind to not win it. So it took me a couple of days to work out how I was supposed to feel, actually. So it was sort of strange, because you do defend yourself. You do sort of think, oh, well, it doesn't matter if you don't win this, you're going to go on and do that, so it doesn't affect you, so you can just go on. So it's quite strange when you actually do win this.
Did you practice your nodding and looking happy in case you didn't win it? And she really deserved it better than me, you know.
No, I would have just carried on grinning. And I didn't have a speech or anything. So I just thanked my family, because basically without them, it would be very hard to do everything that I do without their support. So yeah.
Well, Ali Cook, it would be our absolute pleasure if you could introduce Country Storm for our listeners right now.
I will do that. You're listening to Tracy and the Big D on Caboolture 101.5, and this is my new single, Country Storm.